Now, let's go to the next special guest co-host of today's show. We go to the Lord of the Laserdisc, Ben, aka Rider Rated 18.
Hey there, AP, Rider Rated 18 coming at you, and I thought I'd take part in your little venture here for your big video. 90s movies, one action, one sci-fi, and one comedy. So I went through the shelves and picked out a few, so let's get right into it. So for the first one, it's going to be action. I thought I'd go with the 1996 film Broken Arrow, starring John Travolta and Christian Slater, directed by John Woo. This is an absolute bombastic action film with incredible stunts. Yeah, basically the two leads play these military pilots who are on this stealth mission to transport these nuclear missiles, but then one thing leads to another, and we find out that John Travolta is actually hijacking these weapons, and then Christian Slater has to do everything to stop him. And it's a really good cat and mouse game, you know, with a lot of gunplay, helicopter explosions, and with that sort of, you know, tense battle between, you know, trying to get these nuclear weapons disarmed. You know, it gets really tense, very exciting. It's very well directed by John Woo, who is famous for a lot of Hong Kong stuff. I think this was like his sort of first major Hollywood film that he did. He'd done a few Hong Kong ones before this, but I think this was the first one I saw him direct. And an amazing score by Hans Zimmer, and it's just a great action film. I've always got time for it. I remember renting it from the video shop and was just so impressed by how well it turned out. And even to this day, I always crank it up. If I'm looking for a real sort of feel-good action film, this is always it. Broken Arrow. Highly recommended. Now, for the sci-fi, I thought I'd go with the 1998 film, The X-Files movie. Now, it's very strange to see that a television show got a theatrical film while the show was still in production. So for me, as an X-Files fan back in the day, this was just tremendous. I just could not believe it happened. But this film's not going to be for everyone. You know, it won't really make much sense. I mean, if you watch the show in chronological order, the best way to see this film would be after the end of Season 5 and before the start of Season 6. That's when this film takes place. And it expands on the mythology a lot. We learn more about the conspiracy. You know, the set pieces are much larger. And it's really cool to see a television show on the big screen, which doesn't really happen very often. And it hasn't really happened since. And pretty much everyone from the show is involved. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson are in good form as Mulder and Scully. You know, their relationship escalates and more of the truth is revealed. And yeah, I've always got a lot of nostalgia for it. As an X-Files fan back in the day, I couldn't have been more happy with this film. Like I said, it's not for everyone, but it does sort of explore a lot of sci-fi elements of are we really alone in the universe? Are there aliens up there watching us? Who knows? But I don't want to go into spoilers too much because, you know, I don't want to ruin it. But yeah, I mean, if you're an X-Files fan, definitely check it out. Or if you haven't seen it for a long time, go back to it. Not for everyone, but in terms of a sci-fi picture from this era, definitely one of my favourites. And finally, for the comedy, I thought I'd go with 1997's Nothing to Lose, starring Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence. This is incredibly funny. You've got two very mismatched characters here. Tim Robbins is playing this advertising executive, and his life seems to be pretty perfect, but then he unfortunately catches his wife in bed with another man, and it turns out that she was in bed with his boss. And so he's, you know, pretty cut up about it, so he basically just drives off, feeling sorry for himself, and then eventually he runs into Martin Lawrence, who tries to carjack him. And then one thing leads to another, and then we get a crazy marathon of misdemeanors, a lot of arguing, a lot of bickering, and it turns out that these two actually feel they can work together to try and get back at his boss, so they decide to, you know, rob his boss's safe, you know, because Tim Robbins' character, he knows the code to the safe. And they run into some more criminals who are doing the same thing. And there are a few silly scenes in this, but in terms of like an outright comedy, in terms of its banter and its slapstick, and its soundtrack as well, this is a really good time. And one that often gets forgotten about. Not many people really talk about Nothing to Lose. And this DVD is not really available anymore. However, this is now available on Disney+, as are the previous two films as well, because these are 20th Century Fox, and this one is Touchstone Pictures. So yeah, Nothing to Lose, very funny, very recommended. And if you're having a bad day, just stick it on, because you could always feel good about yourself if you want some comedy. So as I said, for the comedy, Nothing to Lose. For the sci-fi, I'd go with the X-Files movie. And for the action, Broken Arrow. 3 good choices there. Take care, AP. I'll see you soon.
Big thank you to Ben for those choices. And I've got to say, I'll be honest, I've never watched any of those movies, but Broken Arrow sounds like a movie that I would really enjoy, and it's one I'm definitely going to be checking out. As well, X-Files is a show, I never watched X-Files, but I'll say what I will say is Fringe, science fiction show Fringe, is one show I really love, and a lot of people have said to me over the years, if you like Fringe, you'll love X-Files. So I'm definitely going to have to check out X-Files because I like the idea of this movie in between as well. And I've heard some great stories saying that, this is well, some people tell me like great things about X-Files over the years, and I know Ben really enjoys it as well. So I'm looking forward to checking out all those movies from Ben on his recommendations. And also check out Ben's Instagram page. I will link it in below as well. He's got an awesome page showing his collection, his different passions in his collection as well. He puts out some absolutely stunning content. He's got a great Laserdisc collection as well, some great Laserdisc videos on his Instagram. He's a great guy, and he's been on the show a few times before, Ben, and he's a really cool dude as well. So check it out.